3, 5. 2 apologies, and then
So good to go. Good to start.
but yeah, so we're live now.
Oh, we are live now. Okay. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Gwent Crematorium Joint Committee on Wednesday, the 19th of March. Sorry. Apologies for absence.
Councillor Taylor and Councillor Lane.
Thank you very much. Declarations of interest. I don't think there are any. Okay. Minutes of the previous meetings from the 15th of January and the 29th of January. Anybody got any comments about them? Everybody happy that they're a true record? Yeah, okay, lovely, thank you. So the main business then, the facilities management report. So I'm going to hand over report North to
Good chair. Okay, so it's not much of an update on the general facilities management other than to say we're looking into some repairs to the walk-in freezer, fridge, not freezer, what it's called in that. I think time would probably be better spent going through the chapel roof report. So has everybody seen a copy of the report? Yeah, I won't read it verbatim, but basically the roof on the chapel's the same age as the crematorium, so it's 60 years old now. And unfortunately it is now at the end of its serviceable life. There are misaligned and loose tiles on both the east and the west sides, with the east side having more damaged areas. And the misaligned tiles appear to be related to slippage of the supporting structure, where the patterns have gone from underneath. So the first report of the roof was via a roofing contractor who was employed to solve the roof leak above the pulpit. Subsequent drone survey showed a number of problems. Showed clear evidence of tile slippage, various broken tiles. The roof was deemed too fragile to be able to access safely, and it anticipated that significant sections will give way sooner rather than later. Therefore, the conclusion reached by the roof contractor was that the roof is at the end of its serviceable life and now needs to be replaced in its entirety. Obviously, that's a big job. There's a big impact of services there. So, your city council took out another survey to see if there was a possibility of doing it in bits or just parts of it, if only parts of it have failed. And unfortunately, the report has been attached to this as well. It's not it's not possible. Basically, they recommend the roof tiles are entirely removed together with the battens, and then they are replaced with either new roof tiles on appropriately designed and fixed battens, or an alternative lighter roof covering is installed. This will provide a more robust service to the installation of solar panels. So taking that into consideration, we looked at there are three options basically for the roof covering. Cement tiles, which is like for like, slate tiles, so either Welsh or Spanish slate, or the alumask air tile. And the alumask air tile is it's literally a modern metal that looks like old-fashioned. We'll get to that more in detail in a minute, but when we decided upon which was the preferred option, we thought about aesthetics. Of course, they looked original. The air looks quite close. Speed. This one was quite key, I think. Is it quicker than doing a like-for-like replacement or slate? Yes, it is. And another key one is the weight, because obviously we added solar panels to that roof. The batten sizes are up in age. The structural report said use a lighter roof covering. So everything pointed towards that. Using the alumask would be the best option. Yeah, so we ourselves along with Kerry, weighed up the options and we come to that general consensus that alumask air tile in the colour at the bottom of the third page would be the preferred option. So the alumask air tile, some of the benefits, it's very versatile. It's got antifungal coating. It's natural stone granules, so it replicates. traditional tiles. It's lightweight design. It's efficient installation. It's a one tile just being like up to 12 inches. It actually does a half square meter at a time, which significantly speeds up the install. It's moss growth resistance, which actually is an issue on the roof currently. And just for the environmental credentials, it's 100% recyclable as and when it comes to the end of its life. But the important thing is it comes with 40-year warranty.
That's the other one.
Right?
Can I ask a question on it?
Well, we'll just
Sorry.
let him finish first, shall we? Just come to questions afterwards.
Yeah, so we had a site meeting between ourselves, Alimask, who's the supplier of the tiles, Newport's carbon reduction team. Obviously, they're doing the project with the solar panels, and Ice Solar, who were delivering that project on behalf of the people. And all parties are happy that the proposed roof and solar panel bracketing system we're proposing was suitable for the specified panels. So should we start at that point, Dave? Do you want to ask a question?
I'm just asking, were you talking about the Almazak airside?
Alimask.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Sorry, that was the only question. I'm
Sorry, yeah.
a bit deaf. My apologies to you. Sorry, Madam Chair.
No problem. Okay, so when we choose it, there's a couple of things to consider. We need to go for planning, because it's a change of roof type. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Councillor Evans. Did you want to?
Yeah, the question I was going to ask more on alignment of timescales to complete whatever needs to be done with the different, materials, or if we're going to do a patch job, what's the timeline for that? If we're going to do the complete revamp the whole lot, what's the timelines for that? That's the question I'm asking.
Yeah, so to be clear, patching is not an option. It has to be the entire thing. Right. I think the slate or original tile option is up to 8 weeks. This option is 5 to 6 weeks. But that is always caveated as with any kind of roof installation with the weather. We haven't had too many named storms this year, but you never know.
You could be setting up a trend there.
Yeah. So that's your question, Councillor Evans?
Yeah, no, thanks. And I'm just trying to work out the impact it would have on the creme itself. So
yeah, so
unfortunately, these things happen. You either got to find a solution, or you've got to find a way of closing it down, which we don't really want to do anyway. But we've got to look at the best options.
Yeah, and we've considered that all the way through, to be honest. And you'll see later on there's a proposal which limits the disruption to the crematorium, but we'll get to that bit in a minute. Yeah, so we're going to need to go for planning, and we've put the planning request in. It should take up to 8 weeks. Should get a decision by the 23rd of April, the latest. We'll need to do a bat survey, which they need to start in May, which is the bat season, and then they need to do a follow-up visit three weeks thereafter. Further considerations include the cremator replacement works. Obviously, you're going for an electric cremator. It makes no sense to do these two separate. They should be done at the same time and limit any kind of shutdown needed for that. At timescale, it's estimated that the roof works will take 5 to 6 weeks, depending on the weather. So consider what other maintenance works to be done during the closure. Let's not waste the time. So I've done a little indicative drawing there. So apart from the chop roof, there are 3 areas that will be affected during the work. So area 1, which is just to the left of the office, if you like, that'll be where the site compound is and access for the cremator works. So that'll be fenced off. You won't see what's going on in there, but it'll be a site compound. Area 2, they're going to be putting some boarding over the top, just to make sure there's no slippage with the tiles through the perspex by the flower area. And area 3, obviously some of the scaffold will have to go down to the floor, so that'll be fenced off as well. So try and limit it as much as we can, but obviously we need to do something. So I didn't ask, when do they two of their certified installers, so worked on these type of buildings before. Company one returned a price of 49.838, company two 52. So obviously we're forward with company one. But there's two options, and this is the key part of it. So for the total price of 74,194, that would mean you'd have to close the crematorium completely for 6 weeks. And then that'll be normal days working, not weekends. So the other option we come up with is for what, at 5,000 more, we could use the 5-day week being Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, allow services on a Thursday, Friday. And then as the job progresses and nights draw out, there may be possibility to even do 4-day weeks of longer days, which will give you the Wednesday to open up. So you have a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to open up towards the end. So it's gonna allow a service to still happen, but obviously it's going to be reduced. So I guess what the committee is going to have to decide is A, that they're happy with the prices, and B, that they're happy with option 2.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anything you'd like to add, Joe?
Just a quick thing on, you mentioned about the cremator replacement. You said to an electric cremator, it's not an electric cremator. That's a completely different build, but it's a larger cremator that we're putting in. And I think just to emphasise the fact that in terms of Norse working together with the carbon reduction team, we've managed to get, and this is my understanding, the brackets are part of the initial build. So the solar can follow on later, but it'd be a much shorter installation program for the solar contractor to attach the panels, because the brackets will be integral with the build of the roof.
Yeah, as the roof will go from one end to the other, the roofing contract will put the tiles and the brackets on, and the solar contract will come behind them on the same scaffold, so saving money on the scaffold there, and fix the panels behind them. So
yeah, it's a much better, sustainable way of working, but the contractors have all been brought together. Chair,
that's really good. I was just going to ask, sorry, Andrew, I'll come to you in a moment. Can I just ask if Kerry would like to add anything?
Yes, Chair, thanks for that. Working with Carl and the contractors on the proposal for the 6 weeks, for them to work weekends, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, still gives us 2 operational days per week, when we'll be looking in the summertime for less services to be taking place. At least we can guarantee the revenue. There will be revenue coming into the crematorium while the work is ongoing. So I think that's quite an important thing, especially given the estimated project cost, and especially with us then having 12 operational days during those 6 weeks, with an average of £6,000 to £7,000 a day. Those 12 days, the revenue coming in matches the cost of the budget, whereas if it was 6 straight weeks without any cremations, there'd be no revenue coming in at all. And that's all I'd like to add, really, Chair. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Angela, should we go to you next?
Thank you. Thanks, Chair. Really interesting report. There was loads of detail in there, and Kerry's probably just answered what would have been my question, as in, I think my preferred option is definitely 2, where you'd still be operational for those 2 days a week. And what, just out of curiosity, what would happen? So people who approached you for a cremation, they would just be sort of sent elsewhere, would they, saying, we've got these amount of spaces? Would they just go to their next nearest crematorium then? Is that what would happen?
Absolutely, they just have to go somewhere else.
Madam Chair.
Yes, go on.
What would happen, like naturally, and I do support Kerry and Joe in this, and yourself naturally, I think the second option, I've got an NAFD meeting tonight, the National Association of Funeral Directors, and naturally I've got to put this to them. And I'm 90% sure that they will support me and Kerry in saying the 2-day option would be beneficial. Right, what would happen with us as funeral directors? we would have to explain to our clientele what is happening, and they would then take an option, which the option is Thornhill in Cardiff, like, which is a bit far. Langstone is our nearest, so they would take that option, 90% of them, and also Sahawi Valley. That would be the 3 options, but we'd have to offer them that on them 3 days, certainly. Thank you, Madam.
All right. Okay, thanks. That helps. And the only other point that I wanted to make, I was really surprised at the cost of the bat survey, over £5,000, which with the initial cost is like, 10%, isn't it, of the the basic costs. I was really surprised at that. I just wanted that noted, really. It's just such an expense, and I know it's really, really important for our biodiversity, but my goodness, what a cost. Thank you.
We got pampered bats, that's what it is.
Do we have any more detail on the bat survey? How long it takes, or how many people are involved?
It'll be done. I'm not sure. It's a watching brief, I believe. We had one done. It was too close to the end of the season, wasn't it?
Yeah, we have had the survey conducted. So yes, I think you're right, Carl. This is a watching brief cost. So we may not actually get up to that amount. I think we just want to get more bases on that one.
Yeah.
But we can look into the cost for the committee.
So
I will say as well, there is, I have allowed 10,000 contingency in there because there is an old roof. And it looks okay from underneath, but just to cover up anything. So it may be we spend it all, hopefully not, but it may be we don't spend any of it. So
yeah.
But just to say about using other crematoria, then obviously the option will still be there for them to go and get into it with their own relatives in the Garden Remembrance Act when crematorium. They could have a service and.
Yeah, that's a very good question, Madam Chairman. If I could step in on this one, right, because there is a cost in if we had £92. I know I should bring this up in the funeral director's report, but as you now mentioned it, right, there is a cost in at the present moment of £92 if you are cremated at another crematorium and you then transferred for the burial of the cremated remains or the symptoms at Gwent Crematorium. There is a £92, and I think, Joe, in fairness, Kerry, this should be waived during this situation.
Is that something you'd like to comment on, Kerry? Is that...
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Well, it's something for the members to consider, I suppose, across that period. If someone was cremated on a Monday, Tuesday or Wednesday during the project, Mike, I believe that's your point.
That's my point, yes.
Would we waive the interment fee of £92 for them if they were to come back to the crematorium? So at the moment, if they're cremated here, then interment at the Garden of Remembrance is free of charge.
Okay, well, let's deal with the roof first, and we'll come back to that question second then. Any other questions or comments on the roof plan? So we have to choose between option 1 and option 2. The discussion seems to be that we're leaning towards option 2. Is anybody against that? Anybody like to propose that we go with option 2 then?
I'll propose that if you want.
And second, okay, so are we all in agreement that we should go with option 2? Lovely. Thank you very much, everybody. So that's decided. Whilst we're here then, and it's your report next, the question of waiving the fee for this 6-week period, if somebody has to be cremated somewhere else and wishes to be interned in our site here, do we think that fee should be waived? Anybody like to comment on that? Angela?
Yeah, so what would the loss be? Would there be, well, it would be, a loss financially. So would that be, would that have a big impact? Could somebody do the maths for me, please? Sorry.
Thank you, Kerry. I don't think it's going to be a huge impact, is it? Yes, please, Kerry.
Well, essentially, if somebody wants to be interred here at the crematorium, then they generally would like to be cremated here at the crematorium. So if we waived the £92 fee, would we also discourage them from being cremated at the crematorium, as a vast number of cremations that take place, many of the remains are taken away from the crematorium and not interred. So if we're providing 2 days per week through that period, then perhaps my only concern would we be dissuading people from having their cremation take place with us when we'd like those 2 days to be utilised? That'd be my only consideration, really.
It seems to me that there's probably not many cases, and I'm sure that you would probably try, if that was the case that somebody wished to be interred, that you would make every effort to fit them in those 2 days. Am I right in saying that? So my feeling is, if there is 1 or 2 cases that can't be accommodated in that way for the 6 weeks, then we should just waive that, waive that fee for the period of the work. So if I propose that, does anybody want to disagree and put an alternative view? No, we're all content that, in the first instance, we'll try and, I know that you do it anyway, Kerry, try and accommodate anybody who does want to be interred there, but on what we assume would only likely be 1 or 2 cases, we would waive the fee on that. Following discussion with yourself about trying to accommodate them first. Yeah, are we all content with that?
So you are saying waive the fee, Madam Mayor?
But after they've had some discussion with Kerry about trying to accommodate them. Joe.
Could I, Chair, thank you for bringing me in. Could I just make the point that it wouldn't be waiving the fee for interments for funerals that preceded the start of the works?
No,
so it wouldn't be a blanket.
No, it's just the 6 weeks. I think it's 6 weeks for each. It's just the 6 weeks. That's all I would put forward with the NEFD. Okay, so as long as people are clear that it's not that we want to inter at the crematorium, but the funeral was held prior to this. No, it's only the 6 weeks. So as long as that's well respect that, John. Yeah.
And that they've had some discussion with Kerry to see whether he can accommodate them.
By all means.
On the 2 days that we are going to.
If any funerals coming to us and they have, like Mum and Dad has been cremated at Gwent Crematorium, other relations have been buried, and that's where they want to go, right? But they can't go there because of the certain scenario that has come up, right? I would naturally, because myself and Kerry go on talking today, and I would talk to Kerry, put the situation to him, and we can take. I would always put it to Kerry first.
Marvellous.
Thank you.
And if you pass that on to your colleagues,
I will do that to my man.
That'd be really helpful. Thank you. So that's the works then. Everybody content and happy with that? So item 6 then is Funeral Director's report.
There's only one item, Madam Chairman, and I have discussed this with Kerry. So it's to do with the 12-lane highways and the WL lines. So if I can ask Kerry to put his input on that.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Yeah, with big thanks go to Councillor Evans from Torvine for chasing this up for us. And there's a proposal being put in place by the Highways Department in Torvine for lines either side of the entrance and exit of the crematorium. This may take up to 6 months to pass, but the ball has started rolling essentially on that. So hopefully it'll be good news and the lines will be in place perhaps by the end of the summer.
Lovely, thank you very much.
I'm happy with that, Madam Chairman.
That's good. And item 7, Manager's report.
Okay, thank you, Chair. We can have a look at the statistics for the memorial and tribute sales, which in the last couple of months are starting to rise. And then below that, you see the cremation table fees. So there's a slight increase 2024 from 2023, and January and February have been incredibly busy, as you can see from those figures, and that continues into March and also the moment, the first 2 weeks of April. If we turn the page, we're going to have a look more in depth at the detail of the types of cremations that take place across January and February, and this will be how the numbers will be presented moving forward, so it gives us a better opportunity to forecast income for our budget with more information provided on the different fees. So since the Christmas period, as I just mentioned, the services have continued steadily and most of our full cremation slots are full each day. I think that's been a backlog to the new medical examiner role that's been brought in, and there have been some delays with funeral services, unfortunately, across the board. So we continue to be incredibly busy at this period, as I believe do most of our funeral directors and probably the other crematoria. Moving on to staff updates, Logan, who's the next trainee on site to gain his qualifications, is moving through and progressing really well. He sent off his coursework and now is waiting for his final test date, and we've every faith that he's going to pass with flying colours there. In terms of services, scheduled and related works, with the roof works, as you heard from Carl, we're pleased that the issues faced and undertaken, the tasks are being worked out. In all fairness to Carl, he's got all of the contractors together. We've been involved in all of the meetings as things progress, which gives us a good sense that everything can move forward and progress well during the summer months. Now, the new cremator and ancillary work, the first payments have been made to the cremator provider. We're just waiting on a time scale now for them to begin works on site with us, and then that'll help inform Carl and his contractors when the roofing works can begin, and we'll make sure that all of these works take place at the same time. During the period, there are also likely to be some chapel refurbishment works going on so that we can encompass everything we need to during the periods when we are closed, so that when we reopen post works, we'll be in a great position to move forward. In addition, it's worth noting that from the previous meetings, there's been £6,250 awarded to both Noah's Ark and the Hospice of the Valleys based on your decision at the last meeting, councillors. So both charities are incredibly pleased with that amount. And also there's been positive feedback from all of the funeral directors on the new fees, the new direct cremation fees and the new direct attend services moving forward now from the 1st of April. So hopefully we can see an increase in the usage and participation by numerous funeral directors in the facility moving forward. And that brings the report to an end, Chair. Thank you. Is there any questions?
Thank you very much. Anybody got any questions on the report? No, that was excellent. Thank you very much. So that brings us to the end of the meeting. I don't know whether Joanne's got any comments or anything to make us aware of on the finance side.
So there was no report put forward for the meeting today because we're so close to the year end. I have prepared some figures, and at the moment we're looking as if we're still on target for making a surplus enough to cover the distribution that we would usually make at the end of the year. The next meeting, which we've got in June, I'll be presenting the draft final accounts, so for your approval at that meeting. So because we're so close to the year end now, it's not quite the right timing for presenting the final accounts, but within the next few weeks we'll have those figures and then we'll present them at the next meeting. But yeah, going forward, at the moment, the projection is that we'll be on target for the distribution that we agreed previously.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that. And Jill, is there anything you'd like to add? Comments today? Everything okay?
No, I'm obviously with Kerry, and Kerry's put all the details forward. Looking forward to the new cremation fees for the directs and the attended cremations. And, you know, as far as we're concerned, we're out there to, you know, be there for the funeral directors and give as good a service as we can possibly do.
Thank you. That's excellent. And anybody else? Any comments? Any other business? No. Right. Okay. Well, there we are. Thank you very much, everybody, and see you next time. That's the end of the meeting.